Do you have an old crap can like this taking up space in your driveway? Are you still holding on to your old high school whip? Did your aunt run off to Alaska with her boyfriend and leave her shitbox Cadillac sitting next to your house? If so, call Woffords Towing. They haul off junk cars just like these, and they even pay you cash for those old clunkers. So let's recap. We take your pile of crap, we put it in our state-of-the-art pancake maker, and we squeeze out all the cash. Woffords Towing and Auto Wrecking, 201 South Frontage Road, Wapato, 509-877-4944.
Tidricks Quality Transmissions. Come see us today. Thank you.
Hello and welcome, race fans, to the Watkins Glen International Speedway. I'm Justin Kolb alongside Greg Rentz in the booth, Carlos Koss in the production truck, and these guys here tonight. Greg, some of these guys are going to be a little out of their comfort zone here tonight. They're going to have to turn both left and right.
Yeah, this is the only road course race of the year here on the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products, the Mike Wood Race Design 60. And like you mentioned, these guys are used to just turning left, and tonight they got to turn left and right, and I think that that's going to fall into the hands of the number 16 of Andy Fuller, because he is a road course ringer on the iRacing circuit throughout the regular iRacing week and comes and races with us on the weekend. But Andy Fuller, road course regular, I'm looking for him to make a lot of noise in that 16 car, as we're on board with him right now in practice. I'm watching for him to make a lot of noise in this race today.
I'm glad you pointed that out. To his credit on iRacing, a 4.99 safety rating there, so as high as that'll go, and 4,000 I rating to his credit, so absolutely one of the guys to watch out for here tonight. Well, before we take to the grid, why don't we take you through how the point system or point standings are looking at the moment. On top, no surprise, he's been there for a while. Jason Berg in that 21, 401 points to his credit on the top. And then you have Sean Breitzman in second, 31 points behind. Mathew Kingsbury in third, 41 behind. Scott Mann in fourth, 43 behind. And then James Paulson rounds out your top five there, 63 points behind Jason Berg. That's a pretty tight points battle in itself. Then you're going to have Bart Hector Jr. 74 behind, Matt Hackathorn 94, Chris Walters 101, Donovan Stevens 102, and Vernon Margheim 105 points back. And with that, session is advanced. Why don't we take it to the track here? Jason Berg was your pole sitter here tonight. Christopher Heim going to start next to him in the second position.
Rolling off in the second row, Caden Anderson going by call sign Stroker Anderson this evening, with second at points Sean Breitzman rolling off in fourth.
Travis McKinney going to round out your top five here tonight. Matt Hackathorn will start next to him just outside in sixth.
And James Paulson gonna roll off in seventh. He won the non-points practice race earlier this week. Andy Fuller, the 16, we mentioned him. He was leading that race to the closing stages when he ran out of fuel just a couple of laps short. So those were the two guys that you had to watch in that practice race earlier this week.
You're going to have Shane Quinn in ninth. Daryl Tidrick rounds out the top 10 here. You're going to have
Nick Bellamy, who had a great opening race in his campaign, leading a lot of the early going in the Snowball Derby last weekend, and Garrett Huffines, who led the majority of the opening race at USA International. They roll off 11th and 12th. Garrett Sisk and Seth Fraser gonna roll off 13th and 14th. Justin, who's rounding out the top 15.
It is BJ Tidrick in that 72 machine. Vernon Margheim going to start 16th.
Matthew Rise making his first start of the year, rolling off 17th. To his outside, Chance Overholt, the number 62 car.
Bart Hector Jr. going to start 19th. Josh Robinson going to round out the top 20.
Dylan Huffines, the younger brother of Garrett Huffines, another guy who was up in the mix at USA International, with Casey Tillman rolling off in the 22nd position.
Ryan Payne going to start 23rd here tonight. Jacob Bissett going to start 24th. And this is when things are going to get a little bit interesting. There was no B main, so everybody who entered here tonight will make the show here, Greg.
Yeah, 25 cars, and plus, most we've only seen this year is 24. Chris Meringue starting 25th with Chris Walters to his outside.
And then rounding out the field here tonight is going to be Brad Morrison in the 27th position, Daniel Masters in the 28th, Roger Richardson starting 29th, Bruce Weaver 30th, John Doyle 31st, Ted Shan 32nd, Joshua Beal going to round out the field here in the 33rd position. And just like that, they're back to the front straightaway, and we're set to race here. 60 laps here at Watkins Glen International. Turn 1 should be an interesting point as everybody files in. We're green here at Watkins Glen for 60 laps. And Jason Berg got a wonderful start there. He should easily make it in turn 1. Now the question is, can everybody else?
Berg gets through. Anderson taking a peek to the inside of Heim. So far, so good through turn number 1 as the field snakes their way around this 2.42 mile road course. Fans taking pictures as the field works their way through, and Berg out to the early lead.
They were 3 wide a little bit back there entering turn 1, but they all make it through cleanly. Some a little faster than others. They're side by side through the S's back there, but either way, we all make it through clean as leaders get past the bus stop.
Good move in the early stages by Andy Fuller. We mentioned he's the road course ringer during the regular season here at iRacing, and he has moved a couple spots up already, making moves. That 16 car, little bit of a different look at the blue numbers this weekend, as it is Patriotic night here in the Mike Wood Race Designs 60 at Watkins Glen. A lot of guys sporting very patriotic schemes here tonight, as we see Jason Berg leading the way. He's going to come by, should easily lead lap 1. He's got a camo car on the number 21 tonight. A lot of great looking paint schemes so far, Justin.
Yes, sir. And just like that, Jason Berg already out to about a 2.5-second lead over second place. So he's got that pretty much on lock at the moment. There was a little fight there for a second, but Christopher Heim does back off a little bit and heads back to third. Sean Brightsman doesn't look like he's quite done yet with Andy Fuller.
Travis McKinney in the Air Force car doing a good job hanging in there as we check in on a couple of guys who started in row 6, Garrett Huffines and Nick Bellamy. What a start to the year Nick Bellamy had in his first race of the year last weekend at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. He led most of the first half of that race. Not bad for a guy who's making his first start in the iRacing Northwest Tour.
Absolutely. Oh, a little bit of contact there at the exit of the bus stop. Christopher Heim, and I'm not quite sure who else that was. I think it was Travis McKinney, possibly. Either way, they all got a little checked up here. Let's see what happened here. Wow.
McKinney.
Yeah, it just looked like he got a good run through the bus stop. Possibly Christopher Heim did not, but either way, man. I just don't think Christopher Heim got quite as good of a run through the bus stop as that 48 did. And just a difference of speeds there. But either way, they kept it clean and green.
We stay green right now as McKinney going to work now on Heim. That is for the third spot. Andy Fuller sitting in the 5th spot right now, already into the top 5, making his way through the field. 16 of Fuller, he dominated the middle stages of that non-points race earlier this week, but ran out of fuel just a couple after from the checkered flag. That race was only 30 laps, about one fuel run here at the Watkins Glen International. Everybody's going to be making a pit stop here today, Justin.
Yes, let's get to that real quick. As it was mentioned before in the drivers' meeting that these guys can easily make it on 2 stops here tonight. But if you really want to test it, you can try 1 stop. I think their numbers were just a little bit over 29 laps on a fuel run. So what I'm thinking they're going to try and do is split it up into thirds. But some people might be a little bolder, save a little bit of fuel, and possibly pit on lap 30 and then be able to make it to the end.
So expect a lot of guys to come in around lap 20, but expect some guys to stretch it out to about the halfway point as we ride with Matt Hackathorn. He was one of the winners at New Hampshire earlier this season. He was looking forward to this one. He loves road course racing, and Watkins Glen, one of his favorite tracks. He was looking forward to this one, and he's having a good run so far in that 44 car.
Absolutely. Right on the rear bumper, that 16 of Andy Fuller. These guys snake around the S's there. One of the possibly most trickiest parts of this racetrack. A bit of incline there that these guys have to deal with as now they head into the bus stop.
Great racing for second on back, but up at the front, Jason Berg has checked out in that 21 car. He is all by himself coming by us right now in that 21 car. 2 wins on the year, 1 at New Hampshire in the first win, and then the win last week at the Snowball Derby. Jason Berg in a league of his own right now. 8 seconds ahead of Caden Anderson already. We're just 4 laps in.
Absolutely. And the one thing I do see him doing is just keeping it smooth, keeping it consistent, because the one thing you don't want to do is get these cars sliding around and the rear tires get hot, and then it's going to be a fight for grip for the rest of the run.
If you take a look at Stroker Anderson, Caden Anderson in the number 37. Bowell right behind him. Andy Fuller got around Heim and gets around McKinney. Andy Fuller goes from 5th to 3rd. Andy Fuller on the podium, and he is beginning to reel in Caden Anderson now.
I'd have to believe that Andy Fuller should be a factor before all is said and done here tonight based on his experience and what he can do. Possibly make up a little bit of time on pit road when it gets to that point. We'll have to see what type of strategy he chooses to run, however.
Definitely another one to keep your eye on. We see here the number 1 of Garrett Sisk leading Garrett Huffines and Shane Quinn around. Garrett Sisk making his first start of the year. Good to see Sisk back behind the wheel. He serves on Garrett Huffines' pit crew during the regular season throughout the tour in the Washington State area and down into Oregon. Tonight, racing alongside his driver Garrett, and he's ahead of him right now in the number 1, making his debut here tonight.
Very cool. Oh, someone off the track there. It was the 45 of Daryl Tidrick off in the dirt as he tries to get back on the racetrack. Possibly missed the corner.
Hit the guardrail. Bellamy making a peek to the inside. They touched just a little bit.
Yeah.
Tidrick hits the guardrail, gets the worst of it.
It didn't look like too hard contact, at least from that angle, but I definitely believe there was contact that ultimately set that off. Was on board with the 45, 20 just behind, and absolutely some contact. Whether the 45 braked a little bit earlier than the 20 anticipated, or the 20 went in there a little hot, either way, a little bit of contact was made.
That was not quite into the turn yet, but these cars at a big track like this, even the slightest hit on the straightaway or in the turn, these cars can get all kinds of squirrely with just the slightest hit. So, not surprised to see what happened with the 45. Definitely a tough break. He's got a long day ahead of him now trying to make up.
Absolutely. You see the battle for second heating up here. Andy Fuller trying to heat up Hayden Anderson, and we'll try to cross under. We'll get the nose inside, and we'll have the preferred line as they head into turn one. A nice move by the 16 of Andy Fuller as he now tries to chase down the leader, Jason Berg.
That was textbook patience by Andy Fuller in the 16, waiting for Caden Anderson to make a mistake, and Stroker just caught the curb just a smidge going into the final turn there, and it made him pay. Great job by Andy Fuller, the road course ringer, in the second, beginning to try to reel in Jason Berg, but a long way to go.
Absolutely a long way to go. How about 11 and a half seconds he's going to have to make up here? But they will have some pit stops to try and help lessen that gap. Plus the patience and the consistency, I'd have to believe, out of Andy Fuller, going to pay into that as well. But Jason Berg, about as consistent, if not more. And Jason looks like he's going to be starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic here. There's at least one car ahead of him, and he'll have to negotiate as he quickly gets by on turn 7.
We were keeping an eye there on Garrett Sisk, Nick Bellamy, and James Paulson. Paulson, he was able to stretch the distance all 30 laps in the practice race earlier this week to take home the win. Not on points, but definitely felt good for that number 80 car to grab a win and get some momentum going and build up some confidence into this, the lone road course race of the year in that number 80 car. He took home the win.
Absolutely, and also getting... Oh, Jason Berg, I believe, just caught the wall through the S's there. I think he caught it just a tad. If not, it was pretty close. Take a look at the replay here. Be the second part of that turn. Yeah, he did get it.
Yes, he did, just barely. So a little bit of damage. You can see it on the hood of the 21 of Jason Berg on the right front. So we'll see if that affects him at all. Still a long way back to Andy Fuller, as Fuller's not even in frame yet, but long way to go. But Jason Berg, a little bit of damage as Fuller was just now coming off that turn right there. We'll see what that does to this 21 car. Long way to go still.
Well, with that, he only lost about 4/10, so he's still got quite the lead, and it looks like he's already gaining it back just a little bit. So see how that hurts him, if any, in the long run, as I do see another car that he's going to come up and lap here before too long. The 26 of Brad Morrison, the 71 of Roger Richardson has already gone one lap down, along with the 45 of Daryl Tidrick, but it looks like he is on pit road.
Good battle going on here as Bellamy got around Paulson into number 80. Garrett Sisk hanging right back there in the catbird seat of this one. The other Garrett Huffines, right there behind this battle as well. Shane Quinn, Seth Fraser, the 0-2. What a night he had last week at the Snowball Derby. Won the B main, had to work his way up to the 17th starting spot, got up and was in the mix for the win at the end of it.
Absolutely. But one car that was eating up a lot of guys here early in the going, the 46 of Sean Breitzman, currently just a little bit outside of the top 5 in 6th. And he's been no stranger to getting side by side with these guys, trying to make a move. I think he's a little bit too far back here to do it, and that got really close with, I believe that was Caden Anderson there. Seemed like he braked a little bit earlier. And how about Travis McKinney making the move on, well, that was actually a lap car there, but gets out of the way.
Yeah, good job here by all these guys, second through about 6, getting through the lap traffic. You mentioned Brightsman, the Richmond winner earlier this year. Didn't really make a whole lot of noise, hasn't made a whole lot of noise since that race, but having a good solid run here so far in the number 46 car, like you mentioned, sitting in the 6th position as Matt Hackathorn gets around Caden Anderson, and he falls right into the clutches of Sean Brightsman.
A good move there by Hackathorn, and that allows Brightsman to get to the inside, and should be able to make the pass, and Caden Anderson wisely lets him go before they get to the bus stop. Doesn't always quite work too wide through there, as he realizes that it's a long ways to go, and just lets him have it.
And they do a pretty good job maintaining single file throughout the field under the bus stop, as Paulson making a move on the inside of Sisk now, as Garrett Sisk has gotten around James Paulson, trying to reel in. Meanwhile, up further ahead, Nick Bellamy gets around Christopher Heim in the 51. So Bellamy, he's beginning to make a little bit of progress through.
The 54, Jacob Bissett on pit road at the moment, and he pulls it off, actually.
So it looks like Bissett going to call it a day. And one car going around. Oh, that's a replay. That's Jacob Bissett. So 54. That's the replay. So that's what happened with Jacob Bissett. Just loops it going into turn number 1. Driver's side door into the guardrail. Looked like he just lost it in the turn. Tough break for Jake Bissett.
What puts our second car, out of the race. The 24 of Chris Walters is also called it a night. As it looks like the damage that 21 had is not hurting him any. In fact, he's put another second on the 16 of Andy Fuller, even negotiating lap traffic. So that 21 car definitely showing that it has a lot of speed here tonight.
And we saw that in the practice race too. Jason Berg led the first 10 laps, but he only put about 10 laps of fuel in.
Man, a lap car spins out just in front of Jason Berg, and he somehow gets around it. That got really close at the exit of turn 1 here. Watch this, the black car in front. I believe it was the 2 of Joshua Beal. He's going to lose it the exit of turn 1, and man, just misses.
What a job by Jason Berg in the 21 to get through there. Berg knows how to win these big iRacing races. He's good in just about everything he climbs in. So Jason Berg making a lot of noise here early.
And now the 2 of Joshua Beal kind of slowing down the progress of the 16 of Andy Fuller a little bit here. Through the carousel, Andy will get by.
So Andy Fuller gets around Josh Beal in the 16 car. Back to the battle between Garrett Huffines and Shane Quinn. One car way up the track. That's the 26 of Morrison. He is a lap down as Quinn and Huffines get by. And a peek at the battle up here in the top 5. Matt Hackathorn, Sean Brightsman, New Hampshire winner.
The 2's gone around again.
Beal again in the wall, into number 2.
He'll get it rolling as all those cars get past. I think just loses it out of turn 7 here. It's a really strange part of the track to lose it, but thankfully nobody else collected in that.
Gets it going again, so tough break for Josh Beal, trying to get that number 2 dialed in, and looks like he's got a little bit of a handling issue on the number 2 cars. We check back in with Hackathorn and Brightsman. 2 guys in the top 5, each with a win this season, hoping a good run at Watkins Glen can carry some momentum over to Martinsville next weekend. Both Hackathorn and Brightsman doing a good job hanging in the top 5 right now in the early stages.
Well, as our leader Jason Berg comes around, why don't we take this chance to give you a little tour around Watkins Glen as he just gets to the start-finish line. We've talked about turn 1 and how difficult it can be. Thankfully, there's a lot of runoff room you can use as he gets down there, and that can be really tricky to get that down to a proper speed and get through there, but he does it. Now up through the S's. This would be turn 2. and then this is 2A. He negotiates that and just gets really close to that wall once again through turn 3 here, and then into the sometimes dreaded bus stop. That's the 45 of Tidricks just ahead of him. He will try and negotiate past. Oh, Darrell gonna lose it. 21 on the binders, and then hits the gas to make sure that he does not get hit. The 45 does spin around as the 21 of Jason Berg gets through the carousel, a long sweeping corner, and really loose through there, the exit of turn 5. And heading into turn 6. In real life, this turn is paved throughout there, but iRacing doesn't quite have the updated version of that, so it's just a gravel trap out there. And then heading into turn 7. Up to speed once again on the front stretch, and that's the lap around Watkins Glen International, and Jason Berg has to dodge another one here.
He's doing a great job dodging these guys here in the early stages of this one. Gets around Josh Beal.
There's another car spun around in turn 1 that didn't quite have to dodge, but was stopped at the exit of turn 1. It was the 4, I believe. Nope.
It was the 13 that we're seeing right now.
Ned Shan, who had gone around possibly at the exit of pit road. I'm not sure if he came in. I believe he did.
One thing I'm noticing here, Andy Fuller not really pulling away a whole lot from the 48 of Travis McKinney. McKinney doing a respectable job hanging tough in there, but he's feeling the heat from Hackathorn, Brightsman back there as well. So the battle for third right now really beginning to heat up between the 48 and the 44.
Wow, they got really close to the exit of the bus stop. There was a car stopped there, possibly went around, and got pretty close when cars at speed were trying to get through. But yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good battle developing right there, as you said, Greg, between this 48 and the 44 Matt Hackathorn.
And this is a run Travis McKinney needed. He's really not gotten off to the start that he wanted. He even missed a race earlier this season. So to have a good run going here, 16 of 60 gone, and he's in the top 3, battling it out right now for the final podium spot. This is a run that 48 car Travis McKinney definitely needed.
Absolutely. A fourth of the way through this one here tonight. Hayden Anderson to pit road here.
Yeah, so Stroker going to be the first car to make a pit stop. You mentioned right about now, right around lap 20, we're on lap 16. This is when we are going to start seeing guys pit, so the strategy has begun.
Both the 72 of BJ Tidricks get pretty wide, and now the 74 around in turn 1. 74 of Brian Payne, as man, he just completely missed it, and they both did, but the 74 are going to get the worst end of that deal.
That was a hard hit, too, for the 74 of Payne. It looked like he just could not lock it up and just couldn't get the car to slow down at all. I'm surprised to see that thing still rolling.
Well, going back to Caden Anderson, who just came down pit road, I'm kind of surprised he came down. That seemed a little early, but he might be trying to shorten pit stops just a little bit. Obviously, you can make it on 2 if you spread them out correctly, but that's going to be his strategy, and doesn't really look like it brought many other people down with him to pit road.
So I have to wonder if Anderson was just trying to make the 2-stop strategy, or to see if he can bait anybody to try to get them to be thrown off their strategy. So interesting move by Caden Anderson, but unfortunately he was the only car to pit right now, so he's going to have his work cut out for him, but he's going to gain a lot of ground here once pit stops start here shortly.
Yes, sir, he will, and still, I believe, on the lead lap, so not too far behind is our leader, as he will have to negotiate some more lap traffic, a little bit heavier than last time.
We keep an eye on the battle for the 3rd spot now between McKinney and Hackathorn. Each of those drivers has missed one race this season. Hackathorn missing the Richmond race. I believe McKinney missed, I believe it was the New Hampshire race. I do not recall which one it was he missed, but I know he missed one as we're arrived with Sean Brightsman, the Richmond winner, in the number 46. Brights has had a pretty solid year. Not really making a whole lot of noise since the Richmond win, but he's having a good top 5 run right now. We'll see how he works out at the end as both him and Hackathorn get around the lap car. Brights with a good run right now, going in the top 5.
Well, Jason Berg has pulled another second, even with getting around lap cars. So, taking a look through the track at the moment, and not too many side-by-side battles, but definitely some close racing in between these guys. And, you know, some guys having better nights than others, of course. Some guys just trying to make it out of here with a decent finish. I know some aren't too keen on the road courses, but just trying to make do with what they can here tonight.
Noticing a lot of cars with damage, and that's not really something that you can be surprised on the way that this race has gone. These guys, not a lot of road course experience. You had to assume there was going to be a lot of cars with some bent fenders in this one.
There. And like Jason Berg getting through a lap car in the S's. Not always the best spot to do that, but he's been doing a masterful job of getting through these guys and just being patient with getting around lap cars, and I think that's the most important note there is you have to be patient in getting around a little bit slower cars or you might risk tearing your own car up.
As we watch the 5th place Sean Brightsman trying to reel in Hackathorn and McKinney. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th on your screen. Sean Brightsman trying to reel him in. Travis McKinney, oh, he gets in the grass there in the bus stop. Doesn't look like it slowed him down a whole lot, though, as Hackathorn not really able to pounce just yet, so McKinney catches a break there.
Yeah, just a little bit wide, but did a good job of keeping it together and not quite losing it all together.
So far, still the only car to pull in was Caden Anderson. He's the final car on the lead lap in 18th position right now. So right now, Anderson trying to hang in there, taking an early pit stop. We'll see how that strategy unfolds throughout the rest of the race as we've reached lap 20. Justin, you mentioned this is the lap you were expecting to see some guys come down pit road.
Well, if they were going to do it the way that I would think they would do it, which was split up into thirds, if you will, so coming in around lap 20 and then back around lap 40. Obviously, some of these guys could take the advantage of saving a little bit of fuel and then coming around lap 30. You know, there's so many strategies these guys can pull, and some guys may be holding a little bit back, and that might be, I'd have to believe, what Andy Fuller is doing, just a little bit, holding back. And saving, trying to make it to at least lap 30, and then making it to the end.
Man, one guy who was not holding back there through the S's and down the, I guess you could call it the backstretch, was Matt Hackathorn. That 44 car got to the bumper of Travis McKinney, but McKinney was able to pull away in the bus stop. But Hackathorn looks like he's got a little bit more horsepower in the 44 than the 48 that McKinney does, as he's able to get the straightaways a little bit better. Looks like he's a little bit better on exit than the 48 car. We'll keep a close eye on this battle. Hackathorn taking a wide move, but it works as McKinney looked like he bobbled a little bit to the line. McKinney had the spot, but Hackathorn gets it going into turn 1.
Almost thought Travis was coming down pit road there, but just gets wide and lets the 44 by, so that'll move Matt Hackathorn into the 3rd spot.
So Hackathorn onto the podium, just Andy Fuller and Jason Berg in front of him. Fuller 13 seconds back. Hackathorn looked like he caught the wall a little bit there that time by.
Take a look here through the S's. Possibly the same spot that we saw our leader Jason Berg hit it. Yep. And it looks like
almost
about
identical.
Yeah, exactly. Looked just about the same.
But it looked like Hackathorn just a slight little bit more amount of damage than Berg, so he might have maybe caught it at just a slightly different angle or hit the wall just a tad harder, not sure, but a little bit more damage as one car checks up and goes for a little bit of a spin right in front of Hackathorn.
It looks like the 74 of Brian Payne got around in turn 6. Thankfully, everybody makes it by cleanly. All right, so lap 22, we're getting closer and closer to the point where these guys are going to have to pit. Again, you cannot make it the whole way on fuel here tonight. It was about 29 laps at the most these guys were able to make it before, so expect them coming around here, I'd have to say pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm expecting pit stops here shortly. Although one guy who was able to make the full 30-lap run in the practice race was the race winner, James Paulson, in the number 80. He won the practice race earlier this week on one fuel run, going 30 laps. I'm almost wondering if he's going to try that again and try to make it on 2 runs and see what happens.
Currently in 9th place, James Paulson is. And be interesting, it would definitely, I'd believe, boost him up in terms of standings at the moment.
Picking up the non-points win earlier this week. Boy, this battle for 3rd through 5th has just been electrifying here. This has been the best battle on the track all night long.
Absolutely, and Sean Brightsman, unfortunately, looks like he's kind of been back there this whole time, but definitely, I believe, has a fast race car as he's all over the rear bumper of the 48 of Travis McKinney and Matt Hackathorn trying to pull away here.
So the battle currently for 4th between McKinney and the 48, Brightsman the 46. As Brightsman almost gets to his bumper, about half a car length separating McKinney and Brightsman right now. Brightsman taking a peek low, maybe going to try a move here at the bus stop. We'll see.
See if he can get a good run out of it. About
McKinney
there,
again.
so.
McKinney again getting the left side tires of his car into the grass. That's the second time we've seen that happen with the 48 car. Not sure if that's by design or if he's just going a little bit too hard through the bus stop. But it's working for him so far, as neither time it's really cost him so far.
I think at that point, you're really not too wide, so you're not in a particularly great spot going through the grass there, but not in danger, I don't believe, of going wide, so if anything, it'll just be a 1X and a little bit of dirt on the tires as Matt Hackathorn gets around the 92 there.
So heavy lap traffic beginning to come into this battle right now as Brightsman taking a peek to the inside again of McKinney, and he's got a big run as he comes up on the S's now. This may be Brightsman's best shot right here.
All over the rear bumper. Matt Hackathorn pulling away, but Sean Brightsman right on the rear bumper, getting a good run down the back, but not going to be enough. Have to back down just a little bit, see what he can do out of the bus stop. It looks like he loses some.
Yeah, McKinney did a great job through the bus stop there, able to pull away, but Brightsman looks like he's got a little bit better car on entry of corners. He was able to pull up a little bit, but man, McKinney punched the throttle and he pulled a big gap between himself and Brightsman there off that turn 5 right there.
And all of a sudden, he's just about on the rear bumper of Matt Hackathorn and trying to fight for that 3rd spot. As soon as we thought Hackathorn was pulling away, all of a sudden he's been reeled back in, and that's kind of the story here at road courses. It's so easy to make a mistake in one corner and then just kind of lose all your ground.
And now, speaking of making ground back up, Sean Brightsman almost got right back to the bumper of McKinney, and he's able to hang tight with him. Boy, Brightsman's really good through turn 1. Last couple of times through, Sean Brightsman has really made up a lot of ground in that 46 car. Seems like he's going to be making moves at any point throughout the race. It's going to have to be right there in turn 1. That seems to be his best corner right there.
They work past the lap car there through the exit of the S's and into the bus stop once again.
Boy, McKinney looked like he got really loose on entrance here. This is a shot for Brightsman as the lap car of Bruce Weaver almost cost McKinney, but McKinney was able to shut the door in just in the nick of time and keep Brightsman at bay for now.
About the closest we've seen to the bus stop between those two, and all of a sudden, once again, Matt Hackathorn basically gone from that battle, or at least trying to get gone here at this point. Brightsman, a good run. I think this might be the move. If you can get there off turn 7 and into turn 1.
And this has been Brightsman's best part of the track as McKinney got in the grass just a little bit more again. Let's see what Brightsman can do. We'll see if he dives into turn number 1. Not this time. I don't think Brightsman thought he could make the pass just there. This time McKinney with a better entrant through 1.
Seemed like he tried to peek the nose in there, but kind of recognized that wasn't there. And you see Garrett Huffines on pit road. This is about the time we thought we'd be seeing guys come down pit road.
Another car coming in. Believe that's Chance Overholt with 62. Pit stops beginning. And we're here at lap 26, 4 laps from halfway. So we'll see what people begin to think as another car looks like is coming down pit road. That's Bart Hector Jr. in the number 82. Another guy sporting one of our Patriotic schemes tonight. Looks like he's representing the Coast Guard this evening on number 82.
And you just saw Jason Berg pass him on the racetrack, so he'll stay out another lap. It can't be too much longer here before he hits pit road.
And while you were saying that, noticed Hector overshot his pit stall just a hair, had to back up. That could cost him a lot of time on the racetrack.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to do that, especially on these worn tires. It's so easy to overshoot your pit box, and really you can lose possibly a second there on the racetrack, because we're not going to get any cautions here tonight to bunch these guys back up.
Speaking of overshoot, Sean Brightsman made the pass on the front stretch, shooting past Travis McKinney on the outside, so Bright's into the 4th spot now. Now he goes to work trying to catch up to Hackathorn. This is Dahl going on 22 seconds behind Jason Berg right now, the race leader, though.
You expect Jason Berg at some point coming back to the front stretch, but see if Brightsman can't do anything before they get to pit road. Christopher Heim down pit road there.
Heim rolled off outside front row in the number 51, but he's been struggling since then in the 51. Got a good start, was up there in the mix for about a lap or so, but something happened to the 51 car, and it's just not been handling very well since then. As we take a look at our leader, Jason Berg, the 21, having a very solid run.
Fuller on pit road.
All right, 2nd place, Andy Fuller. This is right about the time he pitted in that practice race. So looks like Fuller recognizes he's got about 28 laps worth of fuel on a run here. And Fuller's a road course guy, so I'm expecting him to really make some noise here. Not even knows about what kind of run he's got as another car pulls in. That's Shane Quinn, the 29. So pit stops definitely are beginning. Matthew Rise pulling in as well, Justin.
Third and 64 there on pit road. So Jason Berg coming around turn 6. I believe at this point he should come down pit road. Looks like he is slowing too, and he will.
So race leader Jason Berg pulling into pit road. He made it 29 laps on fuel.
At this point, I think these guys are going to have to save just a little bit to make it to the checkered. Be quite interesting to see how this is all going to play out. Possibly some guys saving a little bit more than others. Instead in the practice race, some guys ran out. See if we see the same scenario here tonight.
By our math, most of these guys pitting right now would be about 3 laps short. As Hackathorn pits from the podium spot. Matt Hackathorn pulling in. Garrett Sisk as well pulling in.
Do see Sean Brightsman and Travis McKinney still on the racetrack, as well as the non-points win James Paulson still on the racetrack as well. These guys all taking lap 29.
So that should put Brightsman into the lead for the time being in the 46 car, as Berg's still on pit road. So as of now, should have Sean Brightsman as the leader. By the time he crossed the line, Berg was still ahead of him, but should be showing Sean Brightsman as the leader this time by, unless he pits now and McKinney stays out.
Like the 64 going to blow past the 48 on those fresher tires and just lets him go there. And Brightsman into turn 6, see if he takes the line into turn 7 a little bit slower. And he will. He will bring it down pit road and will surrender the lead. Travis McKinney going to follow suit behind.
And James Paulson, the winner of the non-points race, is in third, so he was able to stretch it all 30 laps. So I'm wondering if he's going to make
He
another
is.
shot. He's going to come out and inherit the lead. So James Paulson, he figures, hey, I made it 30 laps already this week. I'm going to try it again. James Paulson to the lead in the 80.
Trying to gain some track position at this point.
But Sean leads the lap as Sean got to the finish line before Paulson was able to pass him. So Sean Breitzman led the lap. First driver not named Jason Berg to lead today.
Also of note, Seth Fraser is still out there on 30 laps. He is currently in second. And I see the 4 Chris Meringue as well has stayed out. He is 2 laps down at the moment, or 1 lap down. But
As a few more cars making their pit stops now at BJ Tidrick in the Navy car, Casey Tillman. Back to the race leader, James Paulson. He was able to stretch it 30 laps, both in the practice race to get the win, and so far today. Wondering if he's going to try to make it one more lap. If he can, that would definitely put him in the range to make it to the end. Let's see what he does.
oh,
No, he's going to pull in. So James Paulson knows he can make it to the end if he does exactly what he just did. So definitely one to keep your eye on. The second half will be the number 80, knowing that he can go the distance from here.
And Seth Fraser going to follow him down as well. So now really the only car that hasn't pit is the 4 Chris Meringue, but he's a lap down. So all the leaders have come down pit road and at this point have made their bed. Some guys are going to have to save a little bit to be able to make it to the end. One of those guys is Jason Berg, who just got back to the lead.
And Berg was able to go 29 laps on fuel. He's going to need 2 more laps of fuel to get to the end. So we'll see if Jason Berg maybe plays it conservative for a little bit now, knowing that he's going to need to save about a lap and a half, 2 laps of fuel to try to get to the end.
Well, officially halfway, so what these guys have now is what they will have towards the end of the race. So in terms of their tires and their fuel. So this is the point of the race where you really can't abuse the equipment here as we get into the later portion of the race. James Paulson pulling off pit road now, back to 11th. See if he can't gain any more positions with a little bit fresher tires.
Don't forget, the one guy who's off strategy right now, as opposed to everybody else, is Caden Anderson into number 37. He pitted all the way back on lap 16. He's only 2 laps away from matching that total, so keep an eye on the 37 car and see if he makes another pit stop here shortly, as we're closing in on that window that he ran the first run.
Absolutely, and I think he was probably expecting everybody to do the same in terms of splitting it up into thirds, but unfortunately that strategy did not pay off, and Caden Anderson in third at the moment, but he's gonna drop pretty dramatically through the standings here once he has to hit pit road.
Yeah, because he's on 15-lap-old tires where everyone else just got fresh tires. So Caden Anderson doing a good job hanging in there in third right now, and it looks like he just lost the second position to Andy Fuller about a lap ago, but Fuller pulling away real quick. So Anderson was trying something in the 37. We'll see what he does strategy-wise. We'll see if maybe he goes a full fuel run now to try to gather it back up. If he can make that full fuel run, keep an eye on him because he's going to have the fresh tires coming through the field late.
Absolutely, and if he did that, that would be around the lap 45, 46, 47 mark, somewhere around there whenever he chooses to come down. But that would be around 15 laps to go, so as you said, absolutely, fresh tires could play a factor there and help him get a few more positions. Obviously, it's not going to be a race-winning move, but should help him a little bit once it all cycles around.
Well, I don't know. That may work out in his favor because a lot of these guys are on the edge of a fuel run. We'll see. Anderson, he might be sitting pretty if all these guys can't make it. So the 37 car will definitely be the one to watch when he pits, because we know once he pits, he'll be good to go for the rest of the run. So it's just a matter of when he pits in that 37 car.
I think, yeah, if it does come down to that, it's going to be the battle between Caden and that 80 of James Paulson, who we know is pretty well good to the rest of the race.
As long as Paulson can do what he did on that first run and in the practice races, we look at Matt Hagethorn in the 44 car now, the New Hampshire winner, and a good battle back here between Breitzman and Huffines. Unfortunately, that's not for position, as Huffines was a lap down. Breitzman in the top 5 gets around the 42. We'll see if Breitzman can hold on and try to start reeling in Hagethorn now.
Well, how about a couple guys in the top 10 at the moment having some pretty good runs? Shane Quinn in the 29, just outside the top 5 in 6th at the moment. And the one of Garrett sixth, just behind him in 7th in the 1. Oh, no!
Quinn getting way off. The announcer's curse strikes again. Shane Quinn does a good job to hang on to it. Garrett Sisk not able to make a move. Nick Bellamy kind of hanging back there watching this all develop. Quinn did a great job there to hang on to that one and not lose as we take another look.
Wow. Big contact.
Definite contact. But great job by Quinn to hang on to it. Great job by Sisk also to recognize what was going on and check up and give him space.
Great job by me for calling out another guy and almost having a wreck. Man, never fails.
I think we're at like 5-2 with you in the lead on that one right now.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the season.
I just have the bad touch, I guess. Oh, man. All right, closing in. 25 laps to go here. Jason Berg still your leader. Really no change in his lead at the moment. 17 and a half seconds over the 16 of Andy Fuller. And yeah, absolutely not saving. But, you know, at this point, I'd like to say that he has a little bit of time before he really has to start saving. There's definitely a whole lot of points around this racetrack that he can do some fuel saving.
Keep an eye on the 21 car. Another guy we're watching because you know he can make it as long as he saves is the number 80 of James Paulson, and he is in full fuel save mode right now as he just let the 64 go by. So James Paulson in full fuel save mode, trying to hang on and nurse this one and follow up the non-points win with a win. The last time we did a non-points race, Jason Berg won that one, and he went on to win the points one. So James Paulson hoping the non-points win success carries over to him.
And his lap time is back up. The fact that he is in fuel save mode. All these guys in around the 113, 114 minute mark. He's back to down all the way to a 115.5 at the moment. So he is definitely trying to make sure that he can get it to the end, and really that last time by, just about the only guy in that 15-second bracket.
So he is banking that Berg and Fuller both are going to run out of fuel, but like we mentioned earlier, the wild card in this race is the 37 of Caden Anderson, as he's closing in on, I believe he's closing in on a full fuel run in that 37 car.
They're getting close. I think it's about, yeah, so it'd be about 10 laps before we get around the point where he's definitely going to have to pit. But
so he's the one we're going to be keeping an eye on. This he's the only one that looks like he's on the two-stop strategy right now. So we'll keep an eye on the 37.
Yeah, and at this point, if all these other guys are in fuel save mode too, that's more ground he's going to make up because he knows he's got another stop. He can go full out and try and make up as much ground as possible before he does have to come down and make that final stop.
And the new tires on the 37 car when he inevitably pits also as he gets a little bit loose there. So Caden Anderson, he is the wild card in this race as it unfolds. We will see how the strategy works out for him.
And seeing that looseness off turn 7 there definitely shows me he's not holding anything back at the moment. He's
definitely
in full
not.
attack.
Definitely not, and he can be because we know he has to make another pit stop, so why not go all out and get as much as you physically can until you have to pit. Then you got to all out run to the finish while everyone else is in full save mode.
Absolutely. Oh, car in front of him just went off track. I believe that was the 4. Chris Murray. Kind of missed the bus stop there. No harm, no foul. He got into the gravel trap there, and no damage.
Keeps it pointed the correct direction, taking a look at it. Oh, he lost it and wound up in the gravel.
Thankfully that gravel was there, because if not, he was heading straight for a tire barrier.
And that would have been a lot more damage than what he got.
Absolutely. Another car in front of him before, I believe it was the 82, a Bart Hector Jr. Just missed turn 6. But no harm, no foul there as well. I can
Taking
say
a look at...
I was going to
Sorry,
say,
go ahead.
You see the Andy Fuller there. I can say with the utmost certainty, the car ahead of him, Jason Berg, is not in fuel save mode at this point. He gained another 2 seconds, so he's 19 seconds ahead of second place Andy Fuller at the moment.
Well, Justin, when exactly, if you're Jason Berg, do you go into fuel save mode? Because you don't really have to. You still got 23 laps of a run. You know you can make it close to the end. When do you enter fuel save mode if you're Jason Berg?
I feel like if you're, as you can see there, this is one of the cool things with this iRacing update, by the way. I just want to point this out. A cloud has come over the track here at Watkins Glen, one of the parts of the new iRacing update, so that kind of caught me off guard for a little second there until I realized what was happening. But if you're Jason Berg and you already have that big of a lead, why not save a little bit where you can? You're really not going to give up too much, so over the course of 20 laps or so, you know, just save a little bit where you can into each corner and try and back it down as much as possible, but not giving up too much in the process.
Back it down a little bit here, a little bit there, and
Exactly.
see if you can't work it out to save the lap and a half that you need. Because by our math, he was sitting right about a lap and a half short of making it to the end at the rate he was going. So he definitely had to save. So we'll see what he can do. But he is in guns blazing mode right now in that 21 car.
No, I feel like with him, probably be a point where he gets a big lead and then all-out aggressive fuel save mode, I think, is what he's thinking at the moment. But before we go on, as we get back to the front straightaway, you can see a little bit of sunlight there. I just want to talk about the new iRacing update we had, which is dynamic lighting, day-night cycles. But with that, we got some movement with the clouds, where a cloud can actually move throughout the course of the race. They can come over the racetrack and definitely cool off the track a little bit. And didn't seem like it was on it for too long, so it didn't cool the track down too much, I'd have to believe. But one of the more realistic add-ons here on iRacing, and look forward to seeing it more as we go on, and possibly seeing these races go from about the sunset point of the race to evening here, Greg.
And don't forget, when the clouds go over the track, it blocked out the sun. That does change the handle of the cars just a little bit, because the track is cooled off. That changes the handle just a hair, so you have to keep that in mind also, as a car that's just lights out like Jason Berg's is might not be quite as good with the cloud cover, or vice versa for that matter. So keep an eye on that when the clouds cover up the track, because that does change the handle of these cars just a little bit.
And you can see from that shot, it looks like there's another one coming. May not hit the racetrack, but definitely looked like it was off in the distance there. So as we take 20 laps to go, getting pretty close for Caden Anderson, and why don't we crank it up here at Watkins Glen?
So entering the final third of this race, and Sean Brightsman making a move on the outside, making a pass. So we'll see what happens here. Closing stages of this one, Justin.
Yes, and we just see Caden Anderson coming onto pit road while all of that was happening. 19 laps to go. The 37 decides it's time to bring it down. And see how much time he loses. All that, though, he's going to be able to make back with fresh tires and fuel, knowing he'll be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, no doubt he can make it back to the end now, as we're going to be at about 18 to go when he gets going. We'll see if he can get out in front of Jason Berg as he's getting those tires now. We'll see what the strategy pays off for Caden Anderson, because this is what we got our eyes on now as he leaves his pit stall.
Looks like that does put him a lap down, but we'll see how much ground he can make up with as he gets a little grass there at the exit of pit road, but both with knowing the fact that he can make it to the end, and then some of these other guys who are going to have to go into fuel saving mode here, I'd have to imagine pretty shortly.
You have to imagine Jason Berg is going to be entering fuel save mode any second now in that 21 car, because now we're getting into nitty-gritty time almost. So Jason Berg, as you see, there is the gap between Caden Anderson and Jason Berg to get back on the lead lap as we ride with race leader Jason Berg. Still guns blazing right now, but boy, Caden Anderson, he's sitting in 11th right now, one spot out of the top 10. So that's going to pay off big for him also, as he's only going to have to rely on 10 cars going into fuel save mode. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Caden only about a French stretch width from the race leader Jason Berg as they come out of turn 7 there. It'll be 17 laps to go, and the fresh tire is definitely going to help Caden. And really, you really have to wonder when he's going to start getting into fuel save mode. He is 23.5 seconds over second place Andy Fuller. Matt Hackathorn has hit pit road.
So Hackathorn was on the one-stop strategy. He caught on to what Caden Anderson was doing, and he went to the two-stop strategy. So Hackathorn also sitting pretty now.
But I think what he did, I'd have to believe, is he just took a little bit of fuel and possibly no tires. That was a pretty quick stop in terms of fueling up the car. And we have the four missed the bus stop once again. But yeah, absolutely. He doesn't need to take full fuel. He just had to take enough to know that he'd be able to make it to the end. See if that works out for him. Just inside the top 10 at the moment in 10th.
And now, with him being in that position where he doesn't have to save anymore, look for him to start going all out also.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing we know about Matt is he definitely has a fast car, as well as the 37. So, see how quickly he can make it up through the field here. Does have the leader, Jason Berg, in front of him now as they head into turn 1, so should make pretty quick work of getting his lap back here.
But also, that depends on just how strong Jason Berg has the 21 car running on it, because he has not shown signs of entering fuel save mode just yet in that 21 car.
Oh, we see Andy Fuller on pit road here. Just came down pit road, and I think he's going to try the strategy of just getting a little bit of fuel.
I think we mentioned it earlier. Caden Anderson might have been trying to throw guys off their strategy, and it seems to be working this time, because we knew Andy Fuller was within a lap and a half of making it. Now, two guys now have come in for just a little bit of fuel and see what they can do.
See how long he keeps it here. We know he took 2 tires so far. He's going with a 4-tire strategy at the moment. See if he leaves one to jack drops. He's keeping it on pit road for quite a while. Now he'll bring it off pit road.
Full pit stop for Andy Fuller.
Jason Berg down pit road as well. I'm not too sure about that call, but we'll see as Jason Berg brings it down pit road and see what type of strategy he elects to take.
So Jason Berg now pulling into pit road as the race leader. A lot of these guys, we thought they were going to try to go the distance. Now they're filling up to try to make it. So now, guys who we thought were going to go the distance pulling in, this is going to open the door for guys in the back who are dedicated to the one-stop strategy.
He only took fuel 11 seconds. That's what I think Andy Fuller should have done, but instead he takes 4 tires, and now he's going to have to try and bank on the fact that he's got fresh tires while Jason Berg is still on his tires from lap 29. I do not like that call that the 16 took.
We'll see how that works out for him.
Now,
in the number 16.
Now really, the leaders don't have to worry about fuel save. They can go as hard as they want. And Jason Berg, really in the catbird seat here, he still retains the lead with Sean Brightsman 11 seconds back at the moment.
And Andy Fuller, I think he's too far back to really try to make a charge through, even with those 4 fresh tires.
And he's back to 7th now at the moment. 38 seconds behind race leader Jason Berg. So unless Jason makes some sort of mistake here, a costly mistake, I think he has just locked this up here tonight.
Great call by Jason Berg to throw it off. Has everyone thinking that he's on a one-stop save fuel strategy. Pulls in for fuel with about 16 laps left. Knows he can make it to the end, and he is by far and away had the fastest car today.
Absolutely, and just really, I think that all started with Caden, but it was an amazing job of noticing that and thinking outside the box and being able to bring it down pit road and get that fuel. And the important thing about that, I think, is that he only spent 11 seconds stopped in his box, and that's, I think, what's going to be the difference here. I'll have to ask Andy Fuller, should he get back up through the field here. Again, currently 7th at the moment. James Paulson not too far ahead of him at the moment.
Berg doing a great job, great strategy for the 21. And like you said, I'm pretty sure he may have just locked this one up.
Okay, so we have Sean Brightsman in a little bit of fuel save strategy at the moment, cutting the car off through the corners. And I know that's a little bit of oval saving there. I think what he can really do is, as he gets a lot of curb there, just brake it a little bit, or slow the car down a little bit before the corner, back up your braking points and can save some fuel that way. But either way, we know the 46 now is in fuel saving mode.
And Brightsman, nothing to lose now. He sits in 2nd, knowing that Berg has pitted and can make it. Brightsman just trying to hold on and make it to the end and try to hold on for a solid finish now.
If this all works out, how about Shane Quinn and Garrett Sisk there in 3rd and 4th at the moment? These guys could potentially come home with good runs as the 29 almost gets cut off there by the 92.
Taking a look. Quinn doing a good job. Sisk as well. Sisk making his first start of the year in that number 1 car. Good to see him out here with us today.
Let's see the 13 off the corner in turn 1. Gets it going once again and keep charging along.
All Jason Berg up front right now in the number 21. About 15 seconds ahead of Sean Brightsman and gaining. Boy, great call by Jason Berg to pit when he did, throwing the audible from a one-stop strategy to a two-stop strategy. That audible may have just won him the race.
Absolutely. And, you know, we were talking how I didn't think that what he was doing would be the right call, you know, trying to get as big of a gap as possible. But in the end, it's going to work out beautifully for him, getting that big of a lead as the 72. BJ Tidrick looked like he was a little loose entering turn 6, but the leader will make it by.
Tidrick, of course, running the Brad Keselowski Navy car as he bobbles big time off turn number 7. Great save there by Tidrick, but I love watching all these patriotic cars roll through the race today, Justin. We have had some beautiful cars out on the track today.
Absolutely, and it's always nice to see a little bit of change from the normal scheme, especially when it comes to the military colors. Always a welcome sight here at the racetrack.
Definitely. Military scheme is always one of the most popular choices of just racing in general. Red, white, and blue, camo, representing all the different branches of the military. Great to see all these guys out here in the middle of December. Here's 3 of them right in front, or right next to each other, as Seth Fraser, Matt Hackathorn, and Travis McKinney. And McKinney had a lot of right front damage on that 48 car. Left front damage, sorry.
I see Seth Fraser putting a little bit of a defensive move there in front of Matt Hackathorn, and now it looks like Hackathorn will get, nope, not quite, but man, how about Seth Fraser throwing the block there? Hackathorn
Fraser
all
knows.
over.
Man, what a job by these guys here. This race has gone relatively smooth compared to some of the other races earlier in the year. Richmond and USA really being the ones that come to mind when you think of races that did not go smoothly. But these guys have really settled down in the Watkins Glen today. Great step up. They've done great. That practice race on Wednesday really seemed to help out.
Wow, how about Matt Hackathorn putting it on the loud pedal? He's going to take it around the outside in the carousel. You do not see that every day here at Watkins Glen. What a move.
Power move by Hackathorn.
Wasting no time. 10 laps to go at the moment. As now it looks like Travis McKinney was trying to get underneath Seth there, but he's going to lose a lot of time.
And Hackathorn pulling away from this one as well, as he's going all out now, just trying to get as many spots as he can. Still can't get over that incredible call by Jason Berg to throw the audible.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't really think anybody saw that coming. Once we saw Caden Anderson, maybe, and I think Andy Fuller was thinking that he would take 4 with him, but obviously Jason Berg had other intentions in mind, and that's the thing I love the most, is he only spent 11 seconds refueling, and that's really what's going to win him the race here tonight. Should he get it back?
Oh, Hackathorn lost it in the chicane and lost 2 spots to Fraser and McKinney. What happened to Hackathorn there? We were watching the battle. We take a look back at it, Justin.
I think he was kind of wide and had to deal with a lap car there and had to get really wide. Just kind of bounces off the tire barrier there, but now he's going to have to do all that work all over again. He's already on the rear bumper at the moment of the 48.
Man, what a heartbreak for Hackathorn. On board with him as we take a look at what he saw.
No contact with the lap car. Just had to check up so much that, he lost all his momentum. Oh, someone around! Seth Fraser really wide. He's spinning out in turn 1. Travis McKinney will be the winner in that, but Seth Fraser is spun out in turn 1. Let's see what happened here.
Hackathorn with a big run, gets around McKinney, comes after Fraser. Oh, he got in the back of him.
Oh, and that's some hard contact with that
that
0-2.
was big contact with the 0-2 of Fraser.
I think Hackathorn was just really thinking about sending it in there. And unfortunately, it was at the cost of Seth Fraser. Yeah, they were talking about it a little bit in the drivers' meeting that, since they don't have the tap-out rule here tonight, if you do have a mistake like that, you should come down and drive through. So, see if Matt Hackathorn brings it down pit road here.
Boy, heavy damage on the 0-2 of Fraser. That nose is caved in. And we'll see if Hackathorn does pull in.
And he will. So he will serve that drive-through at the moment as we see another cloud has come over Watkins Glen International. So we'll cool down the racetrack. And definitely looks like this cloud a little bit heavier than the last one. It almost looks like it's about to rain, but I can assure you there's no rain in the forecast. Yeah. All right, 8 laps to go. Just about 8.5 minutes left in this one here at Watkins Glen International. And that's
And
one interesting thing you can see here at the moment, seeing the 64 there. But you can see at that point of the racetrack, there's no cloud cover. But when you come back to the front stretch and through the S's, there's a pretty heavy cloud cover as they're going to drive into the clouds there.
a lot of cloud cover on the front stretch.
One of the nice things that iRacing has added, and a welcomed feature, I will say.
64 coming to pit road. So some late race pit stops now beginning to unfold, but Jason Berg, no worries on that end.
There's a 64 of Matthew Bryce, currently 8th at the moment, and drop a few more here. John Brightsman, though, still in second. Shane Quinn, not too far behind, could have a battle for second before all said and done here tonight.
Brightsman has done an amazing job saving fuel in the 46 car, hanging in there in the second spot. Unfortunately, the great call by Jason Berg looks like it's going to win him this race, but Sean Brightsman doing all he can to hang on for a second place and really pick up some momentum back after kind of a rough couple weeks for the 46 car.
Absolutely, and John was the, I guess, the odd man out when everybody else came down. Shane Quinn, just behind him, was actually coming to pit road, and I was just going to mention that when everybody else came down pit road to take fuel, Sean Brightsman was the odd man out and decided to go into fuel save. Well, Shane Quinn going to give up third spot, and we'll take some fuel here with 6 laps to go.
So Brightsman can hang on to second for the time being, still in fuel save mode. It's going to be really close to see if he can make it to the end in this number 21, or the 46 car. The 21 car, Jason Berg, should have no issue making it to the end. Brightsman's got about 3 seconds now over third place Garrett Sisk. What a day that's been for the number 1 of Garrett Sisk, his first start of the year, and he's sitting in the top 3.
And don't look now, the 16 of Andy Fuller in 4th, just behind the 1 at the moment. He could possibly still get this podium away from that number 1 car. Oh, and the lap car just ahead of the 1 has gone wide in turn 6. He'll get it back on the racetrack. Come back on.
As the sun breaks right back out now. 5 to go for Jason Berg in the number 21. Great call by Berg to throw the audible.
Man, the 7 just about got into the rear of the 16 of Andy Fuller. Entering turn 1 there, the 7 of Dylan Huffines.
So Andy Fuller sitting in 4th. Definitely going to be the best finish of the year for that 16 car, regardless of whether or not he can get past the 1 of Siska. Great run for Andy Fuller, but man, the strategy just did not work out in his favor.
No, sir, it did not. Kinda, I'd say with the wrong call, but either way, looks like it's going to end up a good day for that 16. Just not quite where he wanted it, which was victory lane, I'm sure. One car stopped at the entrance of pit road there. Quite sure it didn't get a number, but...
So this is the best battle on the track right now between the 1 and the 16 for the 3rd and final podium spot. One car spun out
the 13
on pit road, right pit entry.
Going backwards. And he's going to bring it to pit road, the 13 of Ted Shan.
Very, very close call there.
But
he hit the barrels hard.
This is the part that's a little bit questionable. Is going backwards around a hot track. Yeah.
Sisk had to check up because he saw the 13 car was coming the wrong way on the one way, and that allowed Fuller to get the spot. So Fuller into the 3rd spot now. Heavy lap traffic ahead of Jason Berg, but it will not play a factor as he's on the front stretch. Rest of the guys chasing him down are just coming through the bus stop.
Absolutely. 32 seconds, his gap between him and second place Sean Brightsman at the moment. As 3 to go, Jason Berg coming around, already took 3 laps to go. Been smooth and consistent all race long.
Great job by Jason Berg. And we talked earlier about, we were wondering if that damage was going to slow him down at all. Not to be the case, but man, we were talking about it. It kind of got thrown out the window with the change of strategy, but Caden Anderson, he's made his way back up to 6th.
Yes, sir, and the 1 of Garrett Sisk going to come down pit road, so that'll move Caden up to the top 5, but both those cars, the 29 and the 1, who are having pretty good days, like, oh my goodness,
on
the
his
64.
lid is the 64. What happened there?
Oh, what a shot. But he's back on his wheels.
You do not see that every day. Let's see what happens. Coming through the bus stop, chasing down Dylan Huffines.
Oh, then we lose the camera, it looks like. Oh, man.
Connection issues. Well, there's Dylan. There goes Dylan. Oh, here he is. So he bobbles, hits the wall, and goes on his lid.
It's quicker the other way up.
And a lot more comfortable when you got all 4 tires on the ground. So
he just backs it up and keeps it going. Oh, man.
why not? Hey, it runs. I'm going.
Engine's still running? All right, let's go. Let's go.
It's 2 to go. I'm going.
Yeah.
Hangs on to it. He's going to try to nurse it home. This is the 64 of Matt Rice.
Well, Jason Berg through turn 5, the carousel, will get by the lap car, the 74. And he's going to come around, pick the white flag, and done a stellar job here tonight from the pole. Led all the laps here tonight. Well, not quite, but just about all of them. And he takes the white flag, and he just has to make it around one more circuit around Watkins Glen International, and he's going to come home a winner once again.
He's going to lead all but 2 laps, provided he makes it around for this last lap. Caden Anderson in 5th, Seth Fraser 6th, Matt Ackthorn 7th. So 3 guys who we were kind of keeping an eye on are going to come out with pretty good finishes in this one. But it has been all Jason Berg in the 21 car all day, and the audible call with 15 or so laps to go. Great move by Jason Berg.
Absolutely. We all thought that he was going to try and go into fuel-saving mode. Well, he did what the 37 did, came down pit road, got some fuel, but the difference maker in this one was 11 seconds on pit road, just fuel only, quick in, quick out, no mistakes on pit road or on the track all night long. So he comes through turn 6 and through turn 7, a lap car in front, but it won't matter. He's got 30 seconds ahead of second place. And Jason Berg going to come to the finish line. He's going to win here tonight at the Watkins Glen International.
3rd win of the season for Jason Berg. Andy Fuller got around Sean Brightsman. Right now, the one thing we're watching in this battle is, can Brightsman make it to the end? Did he save enough fuel? Fuller is going to come home in 2nd. As he is pulling away, he's got fresher tires than Brightsman.
I think Brightsman... Oh, no. I thought he was slowing... No, he is slowing down. I think he's out.
Can Brightsman nurse it back? He's
got a lap
punches
car
the
there.
gas.
2 cars down the front straightaway that are out.
Oh, can Brightsman get there? Paulson coming. He's in 3rd.
Paulson.
Paulson's going to get past him for 3rd. Can Brightsman make it to the end?
Oh, he is so close, but he doesn't have enough momentum.
Here comes Anderson. Brightsman trying to nose it. Oh, Anderson right behind him. Oh, no. Anderson crosses the line in front of him. Brightsman, can he get there? Yes, he can. He'll come home in 4th.
Man.
Oh, Fraser got around him.
Oh, didn't quite get
Fraser
the transponder by.
Oh, Seth Fraser gets him at the line. What a tough break for Sean Brightsman. Finishes in the 5th spot.
Oh, man. Well, how about this 21? If Jason Berg is the car coming around the road with the racetrack. Oh, that was really weird seeing that. Just that car creeping up the hill, but...
Hey, how you doing, Jason? Says
Yeah.
Caden Anderson in the 37. Berg lighting it up, and he has definitely earned it after this one. 2nd straight win for Jason Berg, and it's a big one here today.
Oh. Caden Anderson almost nosing it into the wall there. Well, how about it? 46 didn't quite make it at the end, but everybody else, he was the odd man out who did not come down and take fuel, so that kind of gives you an idea of the boat people would be in if they did not come down and take fuel.
So our presentation's beginning here with our top 4, it looks like, on the front stretch as Fuller. And Fuller's going to do some donuts after celebrating a 2nd place finish.
Why not?
Career best finish for Andy Fuller. James Paulson there as well. Finishes in the top 3 after winning the practice race. Good week for him. Caden Anderson in 4th.
Yeah, how about that for Andy Fuller? After all said and done, after a pretty bad strategy call, he's still going to come home in 2nd spot. Guys trying to get lined up for some photos. Some more coordinated on track than others, it appears.
Our officials trying to get him in position, but it looks like they're just going to say, whatever.
Been
Let's
a
see
long
if we
night.
can catch up with some of these guys down here on the front stretch.
All right, Greg, let's see if we can catch up with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, James Paulson in the 80.
Hey, James Paulson, Greg Rentz in the tower. Do you have a copy?
I got you. You got me?
Yes, sir, we do. Hey, great job here this week. A good run, getting the win in the non-points race earlier this week, and then you come home in the 3rd place, your first podium of the year. Great job here this week, James.
Yeah, thanks. That was pretty exciting. I was playing the fuel strategy, trying to do it on one stop. I probably saved a little too much at first. Kind of lucked into it there when Shane ran out right at the end. But yeah, it's a good race. Good race for us.
Yeah, you mentioned that Sean Brightsman running out of fuel right at the end. We were watching to see if he was going to hold on or if you were going to get him. You got past him to finish in the top 3. First podium of the season. How does this feel for some momentum going into the 2nd half of the season? Well, the 2nd quarter, I should say.
That feels pretty good. We've had a few good runs. If I could just stay out of trouble. I've been a magnet a few times, stuff happening in front of me, but I knew the road course was going to be a pretty good week for us. We usually do pretty well here, so yeah, just excited to get a good finish.
All right, James, congratulations. First podium, and we'll see if you can carry some momentum into next week at Martinsville. Congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate.
Thank you.
All right. Caught up with 2nd place Andy Fuller. Andy, you got us? Might have to come back. Andy Fuller, 3YTV, do you have a copy? Oh, man. All right, well, let's see if we can't come back to him, Greg. Why don't we see if you can catch up with the race winner here tonight, the 21 of Jason Berg.
All right, Jason Berg, Greg Rentz, get a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Man, was that pit call with on lap 45, was that part of the strategy, or is that an audible late in the going? Because we were expecting you to go in the fuel save mode any minute, and all of a sudden we saw you pull in and you made it work. Was that planned, or was that just an on-the-fly audible?
No, that was planned. My whole goal the entire race was just to go as fast as I could, and I knew I was going to have to pit twice, so that was definitely a planned stop.
Hey, made it work. Timed it out perfect. You dominated this one, leading 58 of the 60 laps going into or here today at Watkins Glen. Patriotic Mike Wood race cars 60, and you just dominated this one for your third win of the year, man.
Yeah, that was a fun race. Road racing is definitely one of my favorite things on the sim, so I feel comfortable doing it, and I'm glad I could get the win.
All right, Jason, win number 3 and 2 main events coming up next week in Martinsville. My friend, I think you've got all the momentum heading into that one.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. That's another one of my favorite tracks too, the old paperclip. So I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a good race.
All right, Jason, we'll let you go celebrate. 3 wins on the year. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's see if we can't get a copy to Andy Fuller, 3YTV. Do you have a copy? Oh, man.
And it doesn't look like we're going to catch up with Andy Fuller.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
Oh, there we go. We got you.
Oh, that's weird.
All right, well, Andy, all said and done here tonight, it seemed like second place was, I'd say pretty good. It seemed like the strategy just didn't quite work out for you there at the end.
Well, honestly, I tried the save strategy and I ran my numbers a few times. I knew it would be tight, but I just had to go for full pace. So that's what I ended up doing. I mean, yeah, I didn't get Jason, but I was pretty happy with second. I made the pass for second on the very last lap. So, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to Jason just a little bit ago, and he already knew that it was going to have to be a 2-stop race. Were you in that same boat, and were you fully committed with that 4-tire strategy at the end?
Yeah. I knew that I was going to have to take 12 gallons each stop. That was just a little bit more fuel time-wise than the 4 tires, so I figured go for broke, run full pace the first stint, and then 12 gallons each stop, take full tires, and just push as hard as I could to try to get all the people that were saving.
All right, well, that's enough turning right for the season, I guess. Next week we go to Martinsville, the Twin A-Mains, and that track can almost be like 2 hairpin corners. You ready for that one?
Yeah. I'm really glad with my finish. Gives me a lot of points. Hopefully, because I haven't been the best at qualifying, even at this track, it seems. Maybe get some provisionals now that I have some more points and stuff. Just in case. Hopefully, I can make it through to the main some more.
All right, well, congratulations on the second place here tonight. Before we let you go, any sponsors or friends you have to thank that made this happen here tonight?
No, I don't have anybody to thank. Thank BJ for inviting me to this series. He mentioned it to me, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you, BJ.
All right, well, congratulations, Andy, on the second place here tonight. We wish you the best of luck as well next week at Martinsville.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for here tonight. Why don't we take you through where everybody finished here tonight? A pretty packed field here tonight, Greg, as Jason Berg comes home with the win. Andy Fuller in second, James Paulson in third, Hayden Anderson in fourth, and Sean Breitzman rounds out your top 5.
So looks like Breitzman was able to beat Seth Fraser by just 4/100ths of a second
Barely.
to get the top 5. As Fraser comes home in 6th, Matt Hackathorn comes home 7th, Nick Bellamy, the last car on the lead lap, 8th. So 2 good runs for Bellamy to start off his year. Vernon Margheim and John Doyle, that's actually Cameron Doyle in the 23, rounding out the top 10.
Shane Quinn in 11th here tonight. Travis McKinney will come home in 12th. Matthew Rise in 13th. BJ Tidrick 14th. Garrett Sisk rounds out your top 15.
Chance Overholt in the 62, 2 laps down. Bruce Weaver, Bart Hector Jr., Dylan Huffines, and Casey Tillman round out the top 20.
Josh Robinson comes home in 21st. Daniel Masters 22nd. Daryl Tidrick 23rd. Chris Meringue in the 24th position. And Christopher Heim rounds out the top 25.
Ted Shan, the 13, comes home in the 26th position. Brad Morrison, Josh Beal, Brian Payne, and Garrett Huffines in 30th.
There we go. Then you have Roger Richardson in 31st here tonight. Jacob Bissett in 32nd. And Chris Walters rounds out this packed field in the 33rd position here tonight. Well, Greg, it was pretty fun seeing these guys try and turn right for a change, but next week we go back to just lefts.
And not just lefts. We go to two complete opposite tracks. We go from the big, spacious 2.42 mile road course. We're going to the paperclip, Martinsville, Virginia, for twin mains. Man, what a day that's going to be.
Absolutely. Really look forward to that one. That is next Sunday, same time, same place. Well, we thank you for watching the Mike Wood Race Design 60 here at Watkins Glen International, the iRacing Northwest Tour provided by Joe's Racing Products. We'll be here next week at Martinsville for the Twin A mains there. Should be a lot of fun. So for Greg Rentz, Carlos Costa, I'm Justin Cole. We thank you for watching here tonight, and we hope to see you next week.
Do you have an old crap can like this taking up space in your driveway? Are you still holding on to your old high school whip? Did your aunt run off to Alaska with her boyfriend and leave her shitbox Cadillac sitting next to your house? If so, call Woffords Towing. They haul off junk cars just like these, and they even pay you cash for those old clunkers. So let's recap. We take your pile of crap, we put it in our state-of-the-art pancake maker, and we squeeze out all the cash. Woffords Towing and Auto Wrecking, 201 South Frontage Road, Wapato, 509-877-4944.